So, welcome back, and we're going to talk now about raising your vibration by feeling good. Again, when you can raise your vibration, when you can start to feel things that think of things and access things and get good feelings flowing through your body and emitting that signal of very positive stuff, you can raise your vibration by feeling good. Very, very important. Now, let's not forget that in the steps to raising your vibration, you certainly want to visualize the things that you want. Although I would suggest that perhaps you not be so amazed, so specific. Sometimes you can visualize what you want by just visualizing things going well, things flowing to you easily. I know some of you were taught by the success gurus that you're supposed to visualize that car and to visualize yourself driving in it. And many times they would say to you, well, feel what it would feel like to drive that car. Now that's a good one. But visualizing what you want, visualizing positive things, whether it be money in your bank account, vacations, ease of income coming into your life, money flowing to you, say, from different sources, is still a very, very important and powerful technique. You certainly want to visualize the things that you want. I would also say that you want to talk about what you want. And what's very interesting about us as human beings is that many times we talk about many things that we don't want. We get to, people say to us, how are you? How are you doing? One of the things I like to say to my friends is they say, hey, MJ, how you doing? I say, well, I'm not as good as I'm going to be. And they always say, I'm not sure what that means. And I say, well, it means I'm good, but I'm expecting to be even better. It usually throws them a little bit. But what do you find most people talk about? Well, people talk about, things that are negative. They talk about things that they're hearing on the news. They talk about bad weather. They talk about a bad economy. They talk about things that make them feel bad. They talk about the latest tragedy that perhaps the news is talking about. We're going to talk more about the news. But imagine if we actually talked about what we wanted. One of the games that my sons and I play together is if one one of us is on a negative tear, if we're talking about something that we don't like or something that someone did to us that we didn't like, or I can't believe that person would act like that toward me or toward other people, or can you believe, we get a little gossipy. I'll always switch the conversation and pivot it and say, well, we certainly don't want that. What do we want? Let's talk about something that we do want. We don't want people to be rude to us or to be mean to us. What do we want? Or we talk about, someone starts talking about the economy, say, well, we certainly don't want a bad economy. What do we want? Well, we want lots of money flowing in, and we want our newest website to do very well, and we want people to buy our new products, and we want to book more gigs. And what you find is that people talk often about all of these things that they don't want instead of what they do want. So I'm going to encourage you to start and I'm going to talk about this later on in the program, talking about changing your story, but I'm going to encourage you to talk about what you do want, and notice that when you're talking about something that you don't want, to do the shift and to pivot and to say, wait a minute, I know we don't want that. Let's talk about actually what we do want. Here's a very, very powerful thing that I'm going to give you right now, and this is something that confuses a lot of people, is the idea of changing your vibration on a particular subject that you're thinking about. So here's the concept. Let's say that money is a problem for you. Let's say that it seems that no matter what you've done in your life, you have not been able to really to create and manifest the money, the abundance that you've wanted in your life. And so now you talk about the subject of money. So you say, okay, I'm setting my goals about money, and this feels terrible. I always set a goal to make $100,000 a year. I always fall 40% short. Boy, if I had that extra 40,000, my life would be so much different. But I've been stuck there for 10 or 15 years, and I just can't ever seem to get past it. And my business, my career, my job, I get ahead, and then taxes eat me up, and then and the expenses, and then the last few years gas prices went up, and every time I think I'm going to get ahead, I can't get ahead, and then the economy falls out in 2008, and boy, the subject of money is just a bad subject. You can't seem to get anything positive on that subject. Well, MJ, I want to talk positively about money and wealth and abundance and manifesting my desires, but geez, I don't want to do it. It's not working. Well, here's what I'm going to suggest. I'm going to suggest that you feel good about that subject, or that you change the subject. That you change the subject so that you can feel good about it. So here's what I'll do. So let's say that I think of something that feels bad. I think about somebody who said something mean to me one time, and I feel angry about it. And I think, boy, I'd really like to put that person in their place, or I'd really like to get that person back, or, could you believe that they were so petty that they said that thing about me? So I'm on a subject that's negative. It's not making me feel good. Now, I could try to think of something positive about that person, but in many cases, we can't make the shift on a subject that we're stuck on. So instead of trying to come up with good attributes of this person, or try to see them in a positive light, or surround them in a golden light, or pray for them. And by the way, praying for people is a very positive way to change your vibration about them. But what I can simply do is I can simply shift off that subject and say, well, that doesn't feel good. What would feel good? What could I think about that would feel good? So here's what I do. I often think about my childhood. I happen to be an adopted. I was an adopted kid. I was born into another family, and then I was given up for adoption, and I was raised by a mom and dad who were fantastic, and really, had a middle class childhood. That was full of love and great examples, and really great people that raised me. And I had a brother and a sister, and we went on camping trips, and we had a lot of fun together, and really, had a great life as a child. And all I have to do, now I know some of you will say, well, that's not the one I'm going to pick because mine wasn't so great. Well, that's fine. Don't pick that one. But for me, to review my childhood is a really great memory for me. And I like to, if I want to shift my vibration, if I'm thinking about that person who harmed me and it feels bad, instead of trying to fix that subject, what I do is I just go instantly and think about my great mom and my dad who have both passed on. But I think about them, and it's usually instantly puts me in a good place, thinking about what great parents I had and what a great childhood I had. And they sent me to private school, a Christian school, and sacrifice so that we could go to those schools. And they were just the greatest parents. And it makes me instantly feel good. Another subject, again, that I'll switch to if I want to feel good, is I'll think about the days my sons were born. I'll think about the days, the day that Corey and Tyler were born, and I'll think about the miracle of them coming into the world, and how I was just so thrilled to be a father and to have had some part in bringing them into the world, and being able to love them and to touch them, and picturing them as little babies or as toddlers. One of the things I always think about my son Tyler is when he was about 3 years old, I would come home and he would always say to me, he would say, he would get a couple of different phrases mixed up, and he would say, how was your nice day, Daddy? He would always, I'm laughing right now as I'm thinking about it, I would always chuckle and say, well, thanks for being so presumptive, Ty. It was a very nice day. I appreciate that. How was your nice day, Daddy? He got mixed up with, have a nice day and how was your day? And it turned into him was, how was your nice day? Well, certainly, Ty, since you've suggested it was nice, I got to tell you, thinking about Tyler greeting me at the door at the top of the stairs in my house as I came in through the basement and saying, how was your nice day, Daddy, just puts me in a great mood. It makes me feel good. I start emitting a signal that feels so much better. So if you're on the subject of money, or you're on the subject, you're looking at your bills, and you've got a stack of bills, and you're looking at your account and you can't cover them. And maybe this feels bad. Certainly you've got to get the bills paid and you've got to get through it, but I'm going to suggest that you find some things that you can anchor with, that you can instantly feel good about thinking about a family member, or thinking about a success that you had one time, or thinking about someone that you love, or someone that loves you, a good childhood, a good memory. Even thinking about something in your future, thinking about a new project that you feel will bring money in or will be successful for you. I want you to understand that at any given point in your day, that if you can feel good about things, if you can think about things that feel good, you're going to start emitting a different signal, different than the signal that you have been emitting, which is probably not as positive as you think it is. Remember, if you haven't manifested the success you want, I guarantee you haven't been emitting a signal of success. And so it's very, very important for you to keep thinking of things all during your day about things that make you feel good. Very, very, very important. So whenever you're thinking about something, make sure that it makes you feel good. And when you're on a subject that doesn't feel good, I want you to shift. I want you to pivot. I want you to get off of it. And I want you to think of that thing. Go to that 1, 2, 3 things. Go to that family thing. Go to that thing, that picture, that image. Look, songs change us, right? You want to change your mood. You want to think of something different. Put in a song that you love. You can even go and spend time with someone that you care about. Take 10 minutes, walk the dog, be with your pet, watch a funny program. Oh, well, I'm wasting time, MJ. I can't. No, listen, it's really important that you change your mood. It's really important that you think about things that make you feel good. One of my tricks is in the afternoon when I'm working from home is always to try to lay down for a 15 or a 20-minute nap. I'm usually get up very early in the morning, about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, after my coffee, after meditation and prayer, start working. By 2 o'clock, I've usually worked 8, 9, or 10 hours, and it's a great time for me to realign my energies and to take a break from the world and to take a 15 to 20-minute nap, and then come back. I'll often say, come back for the night shift. Whenever you are thinking about something, make sure that what you're thinking about makes you feel good. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I would call contrasting experiences, or things that are challenging to you, things that perhaps don't feel so good, and how you can actually make that shift. And understanding that a contrasting experience, you want white, but it's black. There's the contrast there of the thing that you don't want. That when you know what you don't want, it makes you very clear about what you do want. And so we're not going to be able to avoid living in the physical world. We're not going to be able to avoid having experiences that are contrasting, that don't feel as good as we want them to. The great news about that is that it stimulates our desire, and it helps us to focus and get very clear about what we do want. So let me give you an example. So as you're going through your day, if you're experiencing something that you don't want, so we'll have on the left-hand column, we have I don't want this. And then on the right-hand column is, but what I do want is this. So let's for an example, say that you get a bill that you can't pay. The bill comes in and you look at it and you say, boy, it's higher than I thought it was going to be, or I just can't believe it's... Are they still charging me for that cable? I can't believe it shows up every month on the 15th. Let's suppose you get a bill that you can't pay and it feels bad. Now, certainly anybody that's had the pressure of paying bills or getting invoices or getting charged for things. I recently got a shipping bill that I had to ship some materials back, and boy, I wish I had called and asked what the price was going to be and the discount, because man, did they whack me hard for a hard price. But let's assume that you get a bill that you can't pay, and you clearly say, I don't like this. It doesn't feel good. I don't want this. This is something that's really, this is going to really ruin my day, getting this bill. Now, that's a contrasting experience. That's something that doesn't feel good. But if you can pivot, if you can shift, and you can allow it to increase your desire. So important. Your desires are so important because if you can focus on what you desire and you can focus on what you want and you can feel good about what you want, you can manifest it. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to say, well, I don't want a bill that I can't pay. But what I do want is I want to have a reserve in my account to pay for anything that comes up. Boy, this doesn't feel good that I have this bill and I don't have enough money to pay this. So I don't want this. I want not that. But what do I want? Well, what I want is I want to have an incredible cushion. I want to have a business account or a personal account that has thousands of dollars in it so that whenever I get a bill like this, it's not an issue. It's not a problem. I don't want this. Well, what do I want? What I do want is I want to have enough money to pay my bills effortlessly. I want to have that cushion. I want to have that reserve. Think about how good that feels to just think about the idea of having enough money to pay for everything, even in a contrasting situation. Let's suppose that you have an expense that comes up unexpectedly. The car breaks down, or the refrigerator. Last year, my refrigerator died, and it was interesting trying to limp it along. And as one day it would be cold, the next day it would be warm, and I tried to make the thing limp along for a week or so until it finally drove me crazy. And I found that not having a refrigerator is really quite a difficult way to live in our society. Let's suppose you have an expense that comes up unexpectedly. I did not expect to have to buy an $800 refrigerator for my kitchen. So you have an expense that comes up unexpectedly. Oh, geez, that feels bad. Or what was right before Thanksgiving? I remember we accidentally dumped a cup of coffee into the MacBook. A $3,500 cup of coffee. Didn't feel good at all. It felt very bad. As a matter of fact, my son agonized over the fact that he had put the laptop on the counter and thought it was so far away from any liquids. And we learned a great lesson. And we certainly said we don't want this. Well, what do we want? So if you have an expense that comes up unexpectedly and it bothers you, it puts you under pressure, it frustrates you, I want you to shift and say, well, what I do want is I want to have enough money to handle any emergency. I want to have, I remember my friend Bill Whittle talking about, and Bill makes about $3 million a year, a perfect example of the law of attraction. And Bill in one of his talks said, he said, money doesn't control me. Money is not a problem for me. I don't obsess about money. He says, as a matter of fact, having a lot of money, he said, if your car breaks down or you need a new transmission, that's a real stressful experience for you. He said, for me, he said, things get fixed at my house. I don't even know that they were broken. I come home and say, oh, there's a new this or that. Yeah, it was broken. He said, because he's got the law of attraction working for him. He's got abundance, $3 million a year. It's not a problem. I don't want this. You have an expense that comes up unexpectedly. That feels bad. Well, let's pivot the feeling. Well, what do I want? Well, I'd like to have an unlimited source of money to pay for something so that when something breaks or something is an unexpected expense, that it doesn't even tweak me. I barely notice it. What I do want is to have plenty of money, plenty of abundance. I lost a customer. A customer was mad at me. They canceled their order. They stopped their auto ship. A teammate quit. Maybe you had a whole organization or downline quit. They call you up, or better yet, they sneak off in the middle of the night. That whole leg, that whole organization, that whole hierarchy is gone. I can't believe they quit. Geez, this feels terrible. I don't want this. Well, this feels bad. Let's pivot. What do I want? Well, what I want is I want to attract new customers. I want to attract new teammates. I want to attract somebody even better than the customer or the teammate I had before. I want to attract someone that will really take my direction and my guidance. I don't want this. I don't like losing a customer. I don't like having a teammate quit. It feels bad. Oh, this feels bad. I don't want this. I want not this. What do I want? When you focus on what you want, you will manifest what you want. When you focus on, so these contrasting experiences, I don't want you to be afraid of living life. You're going to live life. I'm going to guarantee you that life is going to pull you forward. It's going to expect more from you. It's going to challenge you. I want you to eat contrast and challenge for breakfast, because every time you have a contrasting experience, if you can turn and say, I don't want this, but this is what I do want, you'll start manifesting and you'll feel better, and you'll attract and manifest more of the things that you want and less of the things that you don't want. It's a law. That's why it's called the law of attraction. It has to be that way. Focus on what you do want, and you'll attract many more good things to yourself.